Livestock Production 4. Livestock Rearing Practices. Introduction. In the management of livestock, there are many activities that are carried out on animals to enhance production. These activities are referred to as livestock rearing practices. Some of the livestock rearing practices done routinely include: routine is a fixed or a regular way of doing something. Feeding practices. Routine practice is a fixed or a regular way of doing something. Feeding livestock is a common management practice in livestock farming. Flushing. Farmers need to offer to the right stock the right type of feeds, in the right amounts, and at the right period. There are special types of feeding carried out on certain animals to cater for their specific needs. For example, flushing. Flushing is the practice of giving extra quality feed to an animal around service time. Importance of flushing. The amount of feeds given to an animal during service time is increased both in quality and quantity. The time period when flushing is done differ from one animal to the other. For example, in sheep, it is done 2 to 3 weeks before tapping and 3 weeks after tapping, while in pigs, it is done 3 to 4 weeks before service. Increased chances of conception, enhances implantation of the embryo in the uterus, and increases twinning percentage in sheep. Crib feeding in kids. Crib feeding is feeding of young ones from birth to weaning. The feed given to the young ones is called crib feed. A good crib feed should be highly nutritious, digestible, and palatable. Feeding in piglets. Piglets are the young ones of pigs. They should be introduced to solid, palatable food. From the 10th day, piglets should be provided with sufficient amounts of crib pellets in a clean trough. The amount of crib pellets should be raised to about 0.9 kilograms per piglet per day at weaning. Steaming up. Steaming up is the practice of providing extra feed of high nutritive value to animals during the last weeks of gestation. The time period when steaming up is done varies from one type of animal to another. A cow is steamed up 6 to 8 weeks prior to calving. An ewe is steamed up 3 to 4 weeks prior to lambing. A nanny is steamed up 3 to 4 weeks prior to kidding. A doe is steamed up 2 weeks prior to kidding. A sow is steamed up 6 weeks prior to farrowing. Importance of steaming up. The high-quality ration given to the animal supplies nutrients above the maintenance requirements of the animal to give it good conditions for parturition. Steaming up is important to animals because it provides nutrients for maximum fetal growth, it helps build up energy for parturition, it ensures birth of a healthy animal, it promotes good health of the mother, and it increases and maintains high milk yield after birth.
Be able to walk around, and she must be a cow.
The farm started way back in 1940s.
Body weight, the sahi was way over 400 kilograms body weight.
Parasite and disease control practices. Parasites and disease control is very important in livestock rearing. Some of the methods used in their control include vaccination. A vaccine is a preparation of dead or attenuated disease-causing organism introduced into animal's body to induce immunity. There are 4 groups of vaccines. These are live virulent vaccines, live attenuated vaccine, killed or dead vaccines, and toxoids. Vaccination in poultry. Vaccines can be given in the following ways: by injections, orally through the mouth, inhalation through the nose, and through the cloaca. Some of the parasites that are controlled through deworming include roundworms, tapeworms, hookworms, and liver flukes. Deworming. Deworming is the practice of killing and removing internal parasites by administering drugs to animals called antihelmintics. The deworming drugs can be administered by using dosing gun, using bolus gun, and using narrow-necked bottle. Hoof trimming. Hoof trimming is the practice of cutting off overgrown hooves of farm animals. One may use hoof trimming knife, hoof cutter, or hoof rasp. Hoof trimming is important in livestock because it facilitates mating, it enables walking with ease, and it reduces incidences of foot rot attack. The rubbering should be placed between vertebrae joints of the tail, leaving about 1 inch from the tail. The tail drops off in 7 to 10 days. Docking or tailing in sheep. Docking is the removal or cutting off of the tail or dock, especially in sheep. Docking is done to reduce blowfly infestation, facilitate mating, and for even fat distribution in an animal's body. There are several methods that can be employed in docking. These include use of rubbering and illustrator, use of badizo and knife, use of sharp knife, and use of hot iron. Breeding practices. These are practices carried during breeding management. For example, crutching and rattling in sheep. Crutching in sheep. Crutching should be done before mating to prepare the ewe for mating. Breeding practices. Crutching in sheep. Crutching is the shearing of wool around the external reproductive organs of a female sheep. Wool shears are used to carry out this practice. Docking is done for the following reasons: to control blowfly infestation, to facilitate mating, and to keep fleas clean. Raddling in sheep. This is the practice of fitting the rams with breeding chutes, which are painted in different colors during mating. The chutes are fitted on the underside around the breast of the ram. Raddling is done for the following reasons: helps to identify mated ewes and by which rams, helps to identify the active rams, hence able to cull the weak ones, and helps to identify infertile animals. Identification. Identification is the practice of making marks or putting labels on farm animals. There are several methods that are used in identifying farm animals. These include branding, ear tagging, ear notching, tattooing, and use of neck straps or chains. Tattooing in pigs. Tattooing involves marking shapes, numbers, or letters on the skin of an animal with an indelible ink or dye. Branding. The marks made should be large enough to be read and understood for management purposes. Marks should be made on the ears, udder, muzzle, or at the back. Ear tagging in cattle. This is a common method for cattle identification in dairy farming management. Poultry management practices. Debeaking. Debeaking is the practice of cutting about a third of the upper beak with a knife, debeaker, scissors, or hot iron. It is important to debeak poultry for the following reasons: control egg eating, control cannibalism, and chicken are easy to handle. Dehorning. Dehorning is the removal of horns in farm animals. The methods used for dehorning include use of caustic potash stick or potassium hydroxide, use of disbudding iron, use of dehorning saw or wire, use of rubbering or illustrator, use of dehorning collodion. Disbudding in calves. Disbudding is the process of destroying horn buds. The disbudding iron is heated in fire and then placed on the horn buds. castration. This is rendering unserviceable the testicles of a male animal. The reasons for castrating farm animals includes to control breeding diseases, to control breeding, for faster growth rate, and to increase quality of meat by removing unpleasant smell. Bee and fish keeping. Beekeeping. Importance of bees. The science of keeping bees is called apiculture. Honey has become very popular with many people, necessitating the improvement in ways of rearing bees. Bees are kept for the following reasons: for production of honey, production of beeswax, are good agents of pollination in crops, and require little capital and land to keep. Bee colony. Bees are insects which live in very well organized colonies. Each colony is made up of a queen, drones, and worker bees. The bee colony is made up of queen bee, which lays eggs, drones, which mates the queen and ventilate the hive, and worker bees, who rear and nurse the brood, that is, egg, larva and pupa, queen, and drones. They also make the honeycombs, make honey from nectar, protect the hive, and clean and cool the hive. Siting of an apiary. A hive is a structure made of wood for purpose of rearing bees. A place where beehives are laid is called an apiary. Factors to consider when siting an apiary are availability of water, availability of flowers, a sheltered place, a place which is free from noise and other disturbances, and away from human beings and livestock. Types of beehives. There are 4 types of beehives. These are log hive, box hive, Kenya top bar hive, and Langstroth hive. Honey harvesting. Honey should be harvested when it is fully mature and at the end of the rainy season.
Hapa hivi unapiga moshi, kisha puliza moshi, utasonga karibu kidogo hivyo hivyo. Alafu upige moshi ili ipate kuweza kwenda ndani. Kwa hivyo baada ya hapo tunafungua mzinga. Tunaifunga kwa sababu ya babu huwa wanashika nayo hiyo. Kwa hivyo utagonga, utasikia mahali itabadilika, sauti itabadilika. Kwa hivyo utagonga, utasikia mahali itabadilika, sauti itabadilika. Kwa hivyo kumaanisha huku nyuma hakuna kitu, hiyo mlio ikilia hivyo. Kwa hivyo tutaanza na hapa mahali sauti imebadilika. Haya, sasa ndio hiyo tunatoa moja tukitumia hive tool. Kwa hivyo ile ingine imebaki, wakati umetoa moja utakuwa unasongesha pole pole nyuma tu. Songesha pole pole. Kwa hivyo sasa hapa nafikiri tukiangalia hapa Dash kwenye mzinga, warudi kwenye mzinga. Kata kishaanguka ndani hivyo, unafunika kwa haraka hivi, uhakikishe wametoka kabisa. Tutakata hapa mahali hakuna asali, tutoe ila asali tumebaki nayo. Sasa tutakatia kwenye ndoo pisi kidogo, alafu hiyo ingine maliza, unafunika kwa haraka ili mtu wasi ifuate. Kwa hivyo zile tobas ukitoa, ukirudisha lazima sifuatane kulingana vile ulikuwa unazitoa hivyo. Hivyo
Alafu utaona hata kama
kifuniko yako tena ufunike na uhakikishe umefunika vizuri, irudi vile ilikuwa. Kisha ingia hivyo, utachukua waya ufunge. Ingine mafunga ili tuzuie babuni wasije wakafungua mzinga wakakula asali ama wakaangusha hiyo mzinga.
honey processing using crushing and straining methods of honey processing include heat method, crushing and straining, and using centrifugal extractor. Beeswax. Wax is secreted by a pair of glands in the abdomen of the worker bees. It is used by worker bees to make combs for raising the young brood and storing of honey. Bee wax can be used in the following ways: to manufacture creams, ointments, candles, shoe and floor polish, to make teeth impressions for filling and replacement, dissection of small insects in laboratories, and to make peel coatings. Fish farming or aquaculture. Importance of fish. The artificial rearing of fish is called aquaculture or fish farming. Fish farming is normally carried out in specially prepared structures called fish ponds. A good fish pond should have the following features: should have an inlet, spillway, and outlet of water, should be inland with a gentle slope, should be fenced, should be in an area which have clay soil, and should have water that is free from any pollutants. Establishing a fish pond. A suitable site should be identified, marked and cleared before digging the pond. Dikes should be constructed all around the pond. Cropping and harvesting of fish. Cropping is the harvesting of marketable size fish from the pond, while harvesting is the removal of all fish from the pond. Fish preservation. After harvesting fish, they are cleaned to remove mud and slime. The scales are then scraped off before removing the gut and cleaning the abdominal cavity. Fish are then preserved in either of the following ways: freezing, salting, sun drying, and smoking.